working on all of our categories at Dyson, which is very exciting. But beauty is pretty much like the number one category, growth category. So we're very excited to be playing in this space, and in particular the pro space, because we know that when it comes to um, people investing in hair care tools, they really do take their hairdresser's advice. I don't know if anyone else can agree in the room. Whatever my hairdresser tells me to do, I pretty much just nod my head and say yes and hand them my card and they transact. So I think when the pro stylist is using kind of the most advanced and best tools, that naturally trickles through to the consumer. So I'm very excited to take you through our suite of professional hair care. So to do that, I'm got a mixture of presentation. Obviously, virtual is never my fave, but unless I hop on a plane and head over, virtual is what we got. So I'm going to do my best to take you through all of the products and details, but let's have this session be super open. Any questions that you have, please feel free to shout out. Um, and we'll just have a fun, nice, relaxed session with lots of information that'll help you sell these products like hotcakes. Sound good?
Fantastic.
That's good.
Amazing. All right. Because I'm doing it from my laptop, I might not see your face. So please, I'm relying on you to shout out if you have a question, because then I can then answer it for you. Okay. So you'll see your gorgeous faces in just a moment. Um, all right. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep.
We can, no problem.
Beautiful. Amazing. Okay, so I think what I want to kick this presentation off with is maybe just a little bit of an introduction to Dyson. So I don't know how familiar everyone is in the room, if you've used the tools before or owned any kind of Dyson appliance, but when people think of Dyson, they either think of one of three things now. It's either vacuum cleaner, hand dryer that you put your hands into and dry, which most of us has used, or hair care now these days. But fundamentally, we are a technology company, and we've been kind of developing game-changing technology for the home for multiple decades now. And this is, I guess, just a little timeline of 1993 to 2024 of kind of the innovations that we've had, from kind of corded vacuums, cutting the cord and, replacing that with bagless cyclonic technology, all the way through to headphones and cordless vacuum cleaners, and of course, changing the game in beauty in 2016. From 2024, though, was a massive year for us because we continued to innovate even more so in those categories. So we launched more hair care innovations. So the Dyson Airstray, we launched the first professional hair dryer, the Supersonic R, and following on through that, some additional consumer products. So it's been a big year, but 2025 is also a very exciting year for us ahead. But with that said, I would love to give you an insight into why these products are developed. Fundamentally, they're all powered by Dyson's core technologies, right? Like, we develop different ways of making machines tick and how they operate, and in turn benefiting the consumer and the stylist on how they perform. So we do a lot of research into the science and understand the problem before we develop a solution. So we play in all these different fields. So hair science, dust science, hand hygiene, wet science, air science, lighting. A lot of people don't know that we do lighting at Dyson, sound science, and more recently, hair care formulations. But there's a big question mark because we're always very excited, as Matthew knows. We're always launching new technologies and new categories that him and I don't even know about yet. So we're an ever growing and ever evolving technology company. I do want to play you this short video of kind of our hair care journey, because that's what we're really here to talk about. So I'll share this with you from when we first launched in 2016. Cool. So with that said, I talked about research and understanding kind of underpinning all of our technologies. And with hair care, it's all about hair science. So we really want to understand hair from root to tip. We've invested hundreds of millions of pounds in global laboratories across the globe, not only studying hair, but also working very, very closely with professional stylists across the globe. And in combination between the science and understanding hair, but also talking to the professionals and people in the industry, all of these insights really help shape the future of hair care tools. And in particular, the one we want to highlight today is Supersonic R. The great thing about this product is it is a machine that has been developed from the ground up for professionals. So it really gives us that edge when we're talking to salons and professional hairstylists about giving them a pro grade tool. So yeah, we really want to understand hair from root to tip, and that informs a lot of the core technologies that go into our machines. Now in 2016, we obviously launched the Supersonic, as you saw in that video. But then what we did, we launched a professional version. So we took the consumer version and we basically added some professional touches to it. So like a professional grade filter and a professional grade styling concentrator, along with a longer cord. But what we found, the reason why that happened was because we realized that professionals, they can spend many, many hours a day with a tool in their hand, in particular a hairdryer, doing blowout after blowout, style after style. And not only does kind of the acoustics play a problem when you've got like 5 to 6 hair dryers running at the same time. It can be quite loud. I know I speak to some stylists and they prefer not being able to hear their client. So they're usually they're very excited when they hear the sound is low, but some of them are like, oh, I miss my old hair dryer. But the other thing is too is obviously the weight and the balance and the ergonomics of the product. So the Supersonic Pro that we launched did a really great thing at improving acoustics, improving engineering, and helping improve the quality of the hair. But it helped a lot of stylists with RSI and wrist problems, and it allowed people who found it hard to practice or handle their normal dryer to actually feel a lot more comfortable doing more difficult styles again. But also it's preventative. So if you're starting off with a tool like this, it is going to give you even more longevity in your career when it comes to protecting your health and your wrists. So yeah, that was the launch of that. But we're here to talk about Supersonic R because this was a completely new machine, which we're very proud about. Supersonic R, it's a smaller, lighter, faster drying, and it's engineered for stylists. Yay, I got a wow. I mean, that's how we all reacted at Dyson when we first saw this tool. It can be very polarizing when you first see it. But when you get this product in your hands, may I ask, have you been sent the product yet, or have they held the product at all before?
No, 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 we haven't.
No.
We're in the process. So yesterday I was talking to our team, so we've ordered them now, and they will be in your hands shortly.
That's exciting. Okay, so I wish I could see your face when you put this in your hand, but you'll be amazed when you feel it because it is fundamentally a completely new design. It's smaller, lighter, faster drying, and specifically engineered for stylists. So if what I'll do, I'm jumping the gun here, but I'll hand you over to our engineers who will actually talk you through in detail how and why they developed this tool and really what's quite unique about it. So check this out.
Just need sound.
Great. Okay. That would help if it worked.
Engineering this new product and new format has been an incredible challenge. It's dense with technology. We've pushed ergonomics to new levels and fine-tuned the technology for optimized performance beyond what we've ever delivered before.
This machine matches the level that I work at on a daily basis. And I think that a lot of professional stylists are going to be very happy with the performance of the machine itself.
So the original Supersonic solves a lot of the problems that come with traditional hairdryers. But with this new product, we really wanted to take it to the next level. We've been able to make a smaller, lighter, and more ergonomic machine, and through our new core technologies, we've been able to take that performance in style and finish to a new level.
We spent a lot of time studying how people use their hairdryers and how professionals use them. And we knew that by making a smaller, lighter, and ergonomic machine, we could really ease some of the pain points and give you more control.
The diameter of the handle of the product is actually the same as the original Supersonic, and that's because it's just wide enough to house Dyson's motor. We wanted to keep that diameter through the whole product, so we're able to deliver high-performance airflow and keep that flow streamlined through the top of the product. When users are styling their hair, they want the airflow to be coming out at 90 degrees to the product. This arch shape allows us to deliver that airflow through the 90-degree bend with minimal losses in performance and airflow. It was quite a challenge to fit a new heater into this quite unique shape. This presented a great opportunity for us to redesign something that was even better. So when we were prototyping, we found that stacking these foils within the heater allowed us to deliver more even airflow and streamline it through that arch design.
I definitely noticed the difference in that control. It's so concentrated, it's very precise.
So we've put RFID chips into each of our new attachments, and this communicates to the machine which attachment is on and expertly presets a specific temperature and flow for the attachment for optimal performance.
The powerful air attachment is very different to the Pro concentrator. So it doesn't make sense that you have the same settings across both.
One of the things that I love about these attachments is the fact that you can customize what each one of them do. And it'll also remember that exact heat and airflow setting the next time that you turn the machine on.
Durability and reliability were front of mind when designing this product.
We knew that if we designed a high-performing product, it was going to get used in some very demanding settings.
So inside the filter, you'll find a fine depth-loaded mesh and a new outer housing, which prevents clogging.
That means that it can stand up to the demands of professional and domestic use whilst protecting performance.
People are definitely going to up their game with this machine. It's definitely going to become a staple in my everyday life. It's not like anything we've ever seen before, and I think people are really going to love the results that they get.
What are your thoughts?
Interesting, very, very interesting. I look at it initially and I go, that's not going to work,
It's crazy.
But yeah, it works, obviously. Yeah, it's interesting.
It packs a punch.
Well, hairdressers see that as a major movement away from the traditional standard hair dryer.
I think it does. It covers everything that a stylist will do. The only one question I have is when you're blow weaving long hair, and a stylist often, flicks the hair over the barrel of the hairdryer.
Yeah.
With alternate with the brush type thing, because you're creating volume in the hair as well as drying long hair. That I would find that quite hard to do with that dryer.
You know what? It's very interesting that you call that out, because this was when we first launched this product. That was one of, the call outs from stylists was, that's the technique that I use, right?
Yeah.
Is I use the hair around the barrel. What's interesting is that, to be fully transparent, when you're selling this machine, right, picking it up and putting it in your hand is a very big wow moment in terms of the power. But the reality is there is an adjustment to technique that is required, right? It'll feel unfamiliar when you first use it. However, because the barrel is quite long, you can grab it. You could still flip the hair around. It's just a matter of adjusting where you hold the machine, right? So you can do everything you can do with any other hairdryer with this machine, but you will have to slightly adjust your technique. However, when you figure out the way that you want to use this machine, every person that I put it in the hands with finds it very hard to go back to their old machine. So we know people are time poor, and I think that's the thing you want to be transparent about. It's going to feel foreign when you first used it in terms of its lightness, all of that, but the benefits that you will get in terms of being able to, like, as you can see on the screen, right, it being that 30% smaller, that 20% lighter, right, it feels incredible in the hand. It almost feels like you're holding a toy. Like when you feel it, the cable feels heavier than the handheld part of the machine as well. So there's that psychology behind building a new habit or feeling comfortable getting familiar with the machine. But once that moment happens, like I said, it's very hard to go back. So the true benefits of the format is it'll allow you to do everything you can do with a current hairdryer, right? But you get that improved reach, and because the diameter between the handle and the actual attachment is so small, it lets you get closer to the root of the hair, that the scalp and shape, and hit all these different angles with precision that you can't do with a normal hairdryer, which is very exciting because it'll allow them to kind of achieve the styles they want on a client quicker, but with more precision and more control. The other big thing that is great about this machine is at Dyson with our hair care, we pride ourselves on, protecting hair from heat damage, right? But in a pro community, they find that a little bit polarizing because as a professional, you're taught how to control the heat and how long to leave it on a tress, etc. They know how to manage the heat better than a normal consumer would with a high heat tool. So we don't intentionally make the machine stop at a particular heat, right? We want to make sure these machines do not exceed above 150 degrees to ever cause any heat damage whatsoever. So it means it can be left on a tress longer. It can make the hair stay shinier, smoother without breakage. And if you think of, you're going into the salon, you're using chemical damage like from treatments, bleaches, etc., whatever it might be, then on top of all the other damage, you don't want to then blast the hair with excessive heat, especially if you're doing a beautiful blonde look or highlights. Like, all of these problems with heat deliver kind of breakage in the hair, dullness, but it also fades color quicker. So fundamentally, what I'm trying to say is the heat in our products will never damage the hair, right? But with Supersonic R, we've listened to the pros who've told us, hey, we don't think the original Supersonic, we want it to be a little bit hotter. We've listened to them and we've designed a new heater that allows the product to deliver a better heating result because of the tech inside. So the main thing that, why isn't this animating? If we look at a normal hairdryer, right, it has the normal conventional coils inside, yeah? And what happens with those coils, you either get cold spots right in the middle or you get hot spots. So it's uneven heat distribution, right? When we look at Supersonic R, because of our specially designed heater, you're getting completely even heat coming out of the product and no hot spots. So it's delivering all these tangible benefits, but it gives a smoother, less frizzier result, what pro stylists have been wanting from our hair care tool. So overarchingly, the benefits of this heater is that precision heat and airflow. You get smoother, shinier results, less frizz and flyaway. The other incredible thing about this product is the cold shot. So when I bring it over in a minute and you'll see where all the buttons and everything lie, because we've designed our own heater, when you hit the cold shot on this, it almost within less than a second, the airflow is cool and cold. So it just means the stylist is saving time by able to lock in their styles with a cold shot instantly instead of waiting, 10 or so seconds for the heating element to cool completely down and for the airflow to cool. It's ultra responsive. So you tap it, it goes cold, you're setting your tress or your curl, you're moving on, and it's all ergonomically positioned. So that's another huge benefit of this heater. No hotspots, of course, and fast drying. So I'll play you a video as to how we worked with stylists to develop the perfect machine for them.
So ever since the launch of Supersonic, we've been looking to professional stylists to really enrich our knowledge of the hair industry. We want to solve problems, but first of all, we need to understand what those problems are.
A product is not getting created and we're being brought on to just market it. There's always hairdressers at different levels of product development working with the engineers throughout the entire process.
I think one of the aspects that I love the most is my visits to Dyson. Those experiences are always life-changing because it's always thinking about how to improve things and how to make things better.
I think the most challenging thing about designing for pros is that they will never compromise on results.
You want to achieve the highest levels of styling, but you want it to be super efficient and quick.
They kind of want you to rip it apart and say why it's not going to work or that we should do another thing, because that engineering mind is willing to like destroy what they've created to make something even better.
With the Supersonic R, this is the first time that we've been able to integrate all of this professional feedback into the design of a product right from the start.
It's like someone was just watching me blow dry and made a unit that's going to fit that perfectly.
It's just so sleek and powerful, which I don't understand how we were able to do that with such a small tool. It's amazing.
It comes down to things like it's got more of a precision airflow, means that you can get into these details, get close to the client's scalp.
We understand that a professional is relying on their tools to deliver the results. One of the measures we've put in place to protect the machine for really long-term durability is the professional filter. The filter on the machine is protecting it and helping it last for years.
This is just an incredible dryer, but it's allowing hairdressers to kind of use their creativity. It's just all there for you.
Cool. So I want to take you through now another kind of key thing. So we've looked at kind of the ergonomics and the design. We've looked at the heater that makes it different. Now let's talk about the attachments and what do I mean when I say intelligent attachments. So you've heard the engineers talk about it, but the best way I can explain this is that the beauty of having these attachments being intelligent and having this RFID chip is that when you are a stylist, you might be seeing multiple clients throughout the day, right? And you know that when you use a particular attachment, you always want it to be on this setting. You don't have to always manually change. So that's what this does. When you attach the attachment onto the product, it is going to give you a recommended preset setting. But then when you change it as a stylist, it means that when you're switching between your attachments, it's going to remember your setting every time, which is awesome. The other thing is, of course, them being magnetic connection. And I'll take this off the screen in a moment and we'll do a little demo. But these attachments are also like double insulated. So being magnetic, they magnet and click straight on the product, which also means that they can be twisted and turned in any direction. So I know a few stylists that have kind of scorched their fingers or burnt trolleys before because the attachments get so hot or they pop off. Having them be magnetically connected, but also being insulated, which means that they're not going to scorch your finger. So they're also in turn not going to scorch a customer's scalp. So they're double insulated, they're magnetic, and they're smart. What attachments do you get in the box? So this machine is designed to work on all different hair types, but you're going to get 5 attachments in the box. So with your powerful air attachment, this is all about rough drying the hair. If you think of a normal hair dryer without an attachment or a nozzle on it, that is what you're going to get with the powerful air attachment. So Supersonic R will actually not power on or work without an attachment on it. So if you want to use it for really quickly rough drying the hair or just a powerful airflow, you're going to use that powerful air attachment. Then the Pro Concentrator, I'd argue, is probably going to be the most used tool. This is that kind of thin blade nozzle that is perfect for kind of shaping and stretching. And you would know more than me around how incredible this tool is at shaping and styling hair with round brushes, etc. And that, of course, is double insulated. You get a wide tooth comb. This is more for that type 3 or 4 hair, but basically this allows you to stretch out thicker, curly, coilier hair types. It's also fantastic for creating root volume as you move through the hair. And that's kind of reinforced by that cap that you see going over the end, because if type 3 and 4 hair is really kinky, coily to comb through, this gives it extra leverage on the machine so the attachment doesn't pop off. So it lets you work through the toughest and thickest of hair. Then you have the diffuser attachment. If we're looking at kind of type 3 or 4 hair, Dyson's known for our iconic diffuser. It is kind of double layered, insulated inside. It has really long prongs. It basically allows you to dry the curls and set them without too much disruption and frizz. So we're really proud of what we've done with that diffuser. And then, of course, with the flyaway attachment. So this one's all about where the magic happens. This is pretty much like your finishing tool, but this attachment basically acts like a concentrator, and a round brush when you're trying to hide flyaways. This basically automatically lifts the longer hairs up, pushes the broken hairs down between the tress, and it just smooths the hair out and slicks the hair down and hides flyaways. So it's a perfect finishing tool. So they're the attachments there. I will play you this video so you can see them in more detail, and then we can play around with the attachments here as well. So this is like a good walkthrough of the machine, how it works and what to do. And there's no sound really.
That works. And
Yeah, my hairdresser's done it on me.
as we
It's a good one.
And there's your cold shot. So what I'll do, let me stop sharing, because then I'll pull up this machine here. Turn the little blur off. Give me 1 second, sorry. There we go. Okay, it's better. Move back a little bit, but we've got our R here. I think what it won't matter too much for the pro in terms of what the recommended settings are, but like for example, here, when I have an attachment off and I turn this on, nothing happens and it has a white flashing lights to tell me there's no attachment. So just if you're ever doing any troubleshooting before you use it, it won't turn on unless there's attachment on. When we turn the machine on though, see how it's high and high when I have this attachment on? Let's say, for example, my preferred setting is to have middle heat, high airflow, okay? Then I take this off, I put a different attachment on, okay? And then I have the powerful airflow. But then maybe I want really high heat and low airflow. If I take this off, right, then I put the concentrator back on, it remembers that I like the concentrator in 2 and 3. And then when I take this off and put it here, it remembers that I had high heat and low heat. So I know it's pretty straightforward, but there's something powerful about it just remembering. And I know it takes a second to change the settings, but there's something, it's like a nice luxury feature, especially in like a premium hairdryer, for it to remember between your attachments. Because the likelihood is the setting you have for your diffuser is pretty much probably what you're going to use on most of your clients, whether it's that kind of medium heat, medium airflow, right? Concentrator, that might change, but again, you can change it so easily at the tip of your fingers and have the cold shot here. Before, our cold shot button used to be up here and you had to like press and hold it as well. But finding when you're holding this and you're styling, it's so much easier to just have it right there at your fingertip to cold shot as well. Cool. Okay. And the other thing you might notice seeing with the wide tooth comb as well, this pivots and turns in many directions. So you can really just get any angle you want without straining your arms or your wrist. Another nice demo that I'd say you can do when you start selling this product in is, I like when you get it yourself, try it. But if you grab like a normal longer barrel hairdryer and, you know, say you're using it on yourself, if you put it higher, you start to feel like a pinch in your shoulder versus having that shorter barrel, which instantly takes away all the stress and the tension from your shoulder. So they're the things I think are very powerful demos. Like if someone finds holding their current hairdryer in a particular angle when they're styling a client, if it's pinching or hurting or whatever, get them to do the same thing with the R and see if they're still feeling that and experiencing it. Because there's such high impact to like, you don't know what you don't know, right? If you're so used to doing something a particular way, you've never experienced it a better way. So you don't know what you don't know until you, lovely people, go and put this in their hand and get them to experience the difference. I think that's a testament to, like, when you demo this product, you're going to get a lot more valuable interactions and with the clientele that you're trying to sell this to. Oh, any questions?
No, but they're certainly going to get value for their bucks, aren't they?
Most definitely. And their clients are going to as well. I mean, I know, like, from speaking with some hairdressers, like, you know, a lot of hairdressers realize that people want hair health as a huge priority for them. So this just helps unlock that. Yeah, some hairdressers are like, oh no, the color doesn't fade as quick. You know, I don't get to book them in as much, but I guarantee you that your customer is going to come back to you more when they realize their condition and the health of their hair is improving, versus, you know, worrying about their color fading. So many benefits that way. So this one, don't be too worried about what you see on the screen here, but basically out of the box, when someone buys this product, this is what we've pre-programmed each of the attachments in the box to do. But then when you change it, like we did together just then, it'll remember the last setting that you've used. So out of the box, we've just gone, hey, this is what Dyson global stylists and engineers recommend you use, these recommended settings you use these attachments with, but you're not locked into it. Pick whichever you want and it'll remember it.
Okay,
cool.
Fantastic.
Now, you may have seen, okay, that we have recently launched in New Zealand a consumer version of this product. Okay, so Supersonic R has been out for a year, exclusive to professionals for the year. Now it's available for consumers. But what I want to make clear to you is that this consumer version of the product, do you notice any difference in the attachment offerings at all?
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, so there's no diffuser and there's no wide tooth comb. So the one we're selling to consumers, yes, it's this pretty pink color, but from a value proposition for a stylist, they're much better to go for the professional R, because they're going to get a longer cable and they're also going to get attachments for every hair type. So there's that one. And let me just maybe go back and I'll just drag that one here so we can see side by side. Gosh. Okay, so yeah, you can see you've got, which shares 3 attachments. It's the powerful air, the concentrator, and the flyaway. But what about customers who have curly, coily hair or diffusing, or they want the wide tooth comb? They're not going to get that out of the consumer version. So just keep that in mind. It's really very similar technology, different attachments, but the Pro one gives you a longer cord as well, which is really important in a salon environment.
It's also key to note that in terms, sorry, George, I'll just jump in. In terms of warranty cover, the Supersonic R is covered specifically around the warranty for professional salon use. And then also in terms of support and how we support the professional side of things, they will not be going through our standard customer care line. So we'll provide all that information. But in terms of what sort of support we want to provide professional salons with, and also, for example, if a tool needs to come in for whatever reason for warranty, how are we gonna kind of take care of that? Because they can't have their hairdryer. They can't be without a hairdryer because they need to still operate. So that's where we will be keeping things like additional units basically for your customer base to ensure that they can get covered if the unit, if for you know, there's some manufacturing fault or there's for some reason they don't have the tools. So we do want to ensure that professional stylists, the salons, understand that this model, yes, it looks the same, but we need it to have all those kind of professional functions, as well as the longer cable, the professional grade filter, and also the warranty and the support from a customer care or customer services side of things to ensure that they get the full experience, that they're taken care of in a way that ensures that they are getting the tool back to us if needed. They're getting like a loan model, we'll call it, and then we can get things out to them really quickly. So we need to understand that that level of urgency, and that'll ensure that things, we get to handle issues or problems quickly without any issues following the fact. So yeah, that's a key component. Product is developed and designed for home usage, 1, 2, 3 dries a day, whereas the Supersonic R is designed for 12, 15 uses a day. So it's quite considerably different requirements on the tool.
Yeah, so great context about obviously the professional service as well. So I think I just wanted you to be aware that you will have stylists that are asking you, does it come in a different color or whatever? The answer is yes, but it's for consumers. It doesn't have the right attachments for you and everything else that Matthew mentioned there as well. But yeah, that's the context behind. So at the end of the day, if you'd want to buy the tool that's going to give you the right support in salon, but also have all the attachments that you're going to need for working on clients, where someone buying this might just have a type 1 or type 2 straight to wavy hair type that they're using these specific attachments for. Cool. Awesome. All right. We'll proceed through here. This is why stylists love the R. So I'll share that with you as well.
Just need sound.
Made a unit for use. This is the best blow dryer that I've ever used.
It just doesn't look like a hairdryer, but it is a super powerful machine.
It's like someone was just watching me blow dry and made a unit that's going to fit that perfectly.
Weight-wise, it's so much better.
It's very light and very small.
2 fingers and you can use the rest of your hand. I don't even put the hairdryer down, I'll put it under my arm.
I get misfired, it's really easy on the arms and it's too skinny out.
Super lightweight, super powerful.
I feel like people will be shocked when they turn it on and they feel the initial whoop.
I'm really, really impressed with the time. It's so quick.
I've never seen anyone do it so quickly, ever.
Cool. So one other thing I'm going to put out, and obviously just making sure you're clear on maintenance. And then there's
Can I
one
just
other
ask
thing.
something?
Of course, please do.
When you in the previous slide, yeah, it had a stand. The dryer was on a stand.
Yeah, so there is a stand that has been made for it. I don't think it's available just yet. So I believe that there is a plan for a stand to come in the future. I don't know.
To
if
be
you have
confirmed.
any
I've already asked that question in terms of the sample or the shelf units you guys are getting. So to be confirmed.
Okay.
Awesome. But it does exist. It's just whether it's available. Yeah. Good call. I mean, I know since when we first launched it, it's been a tough one to get our hands on at the moment. So hopefully that TBC comes back positive for you. But in terms of maintenance, this is really everything that needs to be done to maintain the product. And this is how you look after the filter. It'll also tell you when the filter needs to be cleaned, which is great.
Easy enough.
It is very easy. I mean, this is a very obsessive compulsive way of cleaning it. It's very detailed aesthetic, but fundamentally the filter just needs to be popped out. At least, if it's being used day in, day out, pop it out at least once a week. You can either just get a mug from the break room, right? A little bit of warm water, some clarifying shampoo, let it soak in there and all that gunk will come out. But you can do exactly like it is in this video. That filter gets cleaned out, maintains the performance, but also protects the machine. Like you think of other hair dryers, all the gunk and the hair and everything goes in, it starts to burn on the coils. This will just mean this machine will last them, which is great. In terms of spare filters, I know the plan would be for them to be available eventually. I'll let Matt kind of confirm any of those details if your clients ask, but really it's so straightforward and easy to maintain the product, and looking after it is key. If they want to maintain the performance, if you look after this product, it'll last you years versus like my partner Salam, where they used to just swap out, you know, Paluxes and things every 6 months, right? Because one drop or the filters never got cleaned. It was this metal cagey thing at the back. So that's the thing with this product, right? There's a little bit of work in terms of like getting familiar and comfortable using it, but once you are, it's very hard to go back. 2, it's just keeping on top of the maintenance. 1, because you want to protect the life of the machine, but 2, you don't want to be in a situation where, you know, you forget to clean it and then your client comes in and then your filter's clogged and the machine won't turn on, right? So it's just an important practice for people to have the best experience to just, you know, once a week when you're cleaning and sterilizing everything else, pop out your filter and give it a wash.
So just as we saw that, George, is that in the manual, and the manual comes with the product? Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely it does. And what I'm going to do, I've put a little cheat sheet together for you specifically on Supersonic R that has all this information that you can use as a little PDF, what all the attachments do, some QR codes to all the videos I've shown you. So you'll have that up your sleeve as well.
Very good.
Cool.
Just
all
going
right,
back
amazing.
With the filter. So I see you don't have a reverse button. Why did you choose to do it a hand clean rather than the reverse like some of the others?
Oh, do you mean like a reverse to push the airflow out and reverse it? So the reason why is because our filter is not just like a mesh cage like when we first launched it. So a lot of others are kind of doing things like we did before. This is a really depth loaded material, right? So if you have hairspray and gooey and sticky things that stick to this, a reverse airflow isn't going to take hairspray off, right? It's just good at pushing dust out. So this will just mean any chemicals, sprays, compounds, pollutants, whatever might be clogging this filter, you need to wash it to get the airflow flowing through it. So I think that's the main reason why, because it probably adds extra engineering that might not really have an impact in a professional environment, right? If hairspray is stuck to normal dust and everything anyway, like hairspray is a punish. So yeah, that's the reason why. That's a really good question, actually. Thank you for asking. So the other thing I want to be really honest about, that people are going to feel polarized, and there's a reason why. And as long as you understand the reason why and kind of the overarching benefits of the machine, I think that will help you. Just trying to get this little filter back on. Beautiful. All right. Is this thing right here. Okay. That's the plug. Okay.
Pretty heavy
So
duty.
it's a plug. Okay. So no, it's not mass. It's bigger compared to what we normally do. However, the reason why the plug is this big is because we've taken a bit of the tech out of this and put the tech into here. So the heaviest components that sat in this hairdryer before now sit in the plug. Okay. So we take the weight away from the user. So that's the main benefit, is we make sure this is light and ergonomic. We put the weight in here. The other thing is we've put like additional tech inside this to kind of surge protection and all these things that make it extra safe in a solid environment. So that's why the plug's so big. The other thing is we know someone's outlets, it might not fit this. So it's okay to encourage them to use like a high quality extension lead if they're wanting to plug it in. But the cord is so long that it shouldn't be a problem. But if you get asked that question, why is the plug so big? It's the reason why the plug is so big is so we could make this really light and ergonomic and give it the power and performance that it has by putting some of the tech in the plug.
Okay.
So is the cord longer than 3 meters?
Yes, it is. I'm going to triple check. I think it was 3 point.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.8 or
yes,
I'll double check, but it is a much longer cable.
Yeah, hairdressers don't really want to go less than 3 meters.
Yeah, no, definitely not. No, and that's the unique thing about this versus, again, the consumer one is the cord is much, much, much shorter. All right, cool. So let me
And sorry,
now...
George, correct me if I'm wrong, but all predominant, majority of Dyson hair care technology, if not all, is now moving to that larger surge protected plug on the wall, correct?
Any kind of new innovation, yes, I think because of like EU laws and things like that. So there's a lot of different variables as to why. Maybe not everything, but the goal will be, right, to make this as a great user experience. This is a bit bigger for now, but knowing Dyson engineers, they're going to find a way to make this super small. But for now, we're taking on new tech, and making sure the user experience is the best as possible. So I know you're going to get asked that, no doubt, by people, and it's not going to win everyone, but I think really persevering with the benefits around the user experience, them using it, the results, all of that is going to outweigh the size of the plug.
Plus, for the cost of the machine, having that surge protected, especially if you've got multiple different units, bits of technology plugged in, you don't really want to risk not using a surge protector on it. So yes, it's a bit bigger, but it is a protective measure as well. So that's handy.
100%. 100%. Cool. Okay. Well, I've got a couple of other little slides. Is there any other questions on Supersonic R? I might as well just give you through a little whistle stop tour of what else we offer from a beauty perspective. But are there any other questions so far?
Do you know what the weight of the dryer is?
Yes, I will get that for you. I have it here somewhere. Just usually have my notes. It's like 0.
Just over 500 grams.
Yeah, okay, cool.
530 grams.
Cool. And do you have the cord length there as well?
2.7 meters, the cable length.
Oh, great. Okay, cool. Awesome. And it's so long. Like, you'd be so like
3.7 meters.
2.7. Yeah,
2.7.
Just under 3 meters.
Yeah, and I think it's the consumer one might be like under 2 or at like 2 meters or something. So it's definitely much longer. Cool, great. If anything else does come up and when you get the products, we'll be here to answer them anyway. But before we launched the R, we had we have our Corral straightener, and then we had a Pro Supersonic hair dryer. So I'll also give this to you in a pack that you can have after, but like at the end of the day, the heart of this Supersonic really has everything that people love about Dyson, right? So the intelligent heat control, the fast drying, even this format was quite ergonomic. Have anyone in the room used this Dyson Supersonic before, this type of format, this shape?
I picked one up and turned it on, that's about it.
Yeah, cool.
Your hairdresser?
Yeah, my hairdresser uses it. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So this was kind of the iconic machine. I think what you get from this product actually is it's really almost exactly the same as the consumer version that you can buy in a store, but it has some tweaks in it to make it salon pro grade. And that is one, obviously its color and its paint finish, it's a lot more durable. But secondly, it has a heavy duty filter inside it as well. So this is that similar depth loaded filter to Supersonic R. And then it also has a professional concentrator, which you can't get with the Pro SKUs. So yeah, incredible machine in terms of protecting the hair, fast drying. It still has really great ergonomics and it sounds good. It delivers, kind of works on all hair types. But when you go to R, you're just getting that next level in ergonomics, that next level in heater technology, the intelligence of the attachments, remembering, and obviously tweaked attachments and performance. So still a really great entry. If a salon isn't ready to kind of commit to R, this is a great entry into Dyson Pro Haircare to basically deliver a really good hair dryer that makes life easier, faster, compared to what they might be currently already using. So it's a really good option. I'll skip through this, but in terms of the way you operate it, so very familiar to R in terms of having those 3 precise airflow settings, those 4 precise heat settings. So you get 3 heat settings and then a cold shot, and then obviously your power button on the side. In terms of attachments, so you are getting the Pro concentrator here. The difference between this one and the R is the R's a little bit wider, but the R is also insulated. So compared to the attachment on the, I'll pull these out after, but compared to the one on the Supersonic R, it's not double insulated, so it can get really, really, really hot compared to the others. So yeah, you get your attachments in there. I'll send that through in a pack. What we also offer to kind of round out a pro styling tool is the Dyson Corral. Now, the Dyson Corral is our kind of hot plate straightener, and this is a cord-free hot plate straightener, and there are a couple of things that make it super unique. In fact, it's a 3.2 meter cable, which is fantastic because that is the length of any corral that you buy in store. We've decided with them, we're going to put a much longer cable on it anyway. So you can use this machine corded or cord-free, which is really exciting. You can get up to 30 minutes of runtime in the product. And that's full straightener performance. So when this machine is being used without a cord, you're still getting the same thermal performance as you would when it was plugged in because of the way our Dyson batteries are. So yes, it might only be 30 minutes, but you're getting that full performance where other cordless straighteners, they tend to fade out as the runtime goes down. So they're not as hot, the heat isn't as even, the result isn't as good as an efficient. It obviously has a really quick recharge as well. So it'll recharge in 70 minutes. But the hack with this product at the end of the day is the charging dock that it comes with. So you can just leave this rested on a dock in the salon and pick it up in between. When you're not using it, when it's created on the dock, it's just topping itself up when it's not being used. So it's always kind of grab and go ready. The other thing with it as well is you can use it for much longer than 30 minutes when it's plugged in. So you can get the full duration of how long you need a straightener for if you just plug it in, which is great. So I'll play you a little engineering film about this so you can understand a bit more about the plates and why they're important.
For decades, conventional straighteners relied on solid plates. But solid plates can't shape around your hair to gather it. This limits control while styling, and tension may be applied unevenly. So instead, they rely on excessive heat to style hair, increasing hair damage. Our engineers have created a flexing plate that's more adaptive to the hair. It means we can produce more control, and tension can be applied more evenly. This enables you to create the same style at lower temperatures, meaning less damage to your hair.
So just the actual plates is where the magic is in this product. Cord-free and all of that aside, what these plates do, as you saw in the video, is great. This is a side-by-side that I just think is just, again, really powerful to see how it creates that even tension and how it keeps the hair so you can move in any angle without the hair sliding out and losing tension. So the real benefit is because you have these plates that are highly controllable, you don't have to go over the hair as much in terms of passes, but two, you can achieve the same look you can with a solid plate straightener with a much lower temperature with Corral. So because there's so much control in the plates and even distribution of heat and tension, you can achieve the same look at a lower temperature than you would need with a solid plate straightener. Which is very exciting because less damage to the hair. So it's got an OLED screen, which you control completely. You've got those three hair settings. So you've got 165 degrees Celsius, 180 and 210. So it caters to all the different hair types. It's fantastic because you can see the battery runtime on the screen, but also it's perfect for the stylist because it's ready for travel. We have a flight tag in this machine, and it basically means you can pop this into your carry-on and not have to check it in because you just turn the tab around and it basically disconnects the battery from the heating element. So there's no risk of it, not being able to be traveled in your handbag or your styling kit with you. And like I said, style corded or cord free. The only caveat here is that if you want to style for a really long period of time, it's like your mobile phone. If this machine runs completely dead and you drain the battery, when you plug it in, you can't use it straight away once it's completely dead because the machine's drawing more power than what is going into it. So if you sell this to someone, just educate them that if you want to use this for a long period of time, plug it in before the battery goes lower than about 70%. Because if the machine's at about 70% battery left and you plug it in, you'll be able to style for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Yeah. I'm just going to move out of this room. Give me one sec, but we'll continue talking. Come. It's all good.
You booked her.
I did. But I'm coming out now. I'm done at 11. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm just making room for our MD.
Yeah, that's all good. Probably a good point for me to just jump in and mention. So stock for the Corel Pro is very scarce, and we are very, very low on stock at the moment. Reason being that it's actually moving or transitioning to another SKU. We're not really clear on when and what's happening with that. So because the differences and the demand is not particularly high for this product in the salon space or the pro space, that's just what we've noticed. We can cover this kind of category with the retail or the consumer version of the Corel. Basically, it does all the same thing, so there's not a huge difference. So in terms of getting stock and access to stock for your customers, we're basically going to fill the space with, rather than the Corel Pro, a retail model. So that's something that's come out just yesterday in terms of what we have on the cards for supply, so that we can get this out to you guys in terms of shelf stock and then also sales stock. Now, this is a product that we're not going to provide, or we don't foresee a huge demand. So again, it's just going to be a few units to start with across the branches, and then we'll kind of reevaluate from there how much stock you guys need, because it's obviously got great functionality and it fits the bill, but how that looks in a professional setting, we haven't seen enough of a demand or requirement to basically carry enough stock until the change of SKU.
Being exactly the
change of SKU, there's a updated model coming through. Is that correct?
Dyson being Dyson, we can't really give too much out. We don't know at the moment how that's going to look for the remainder of the year. But at this point in time, the retail SKU will kind of cover this category, and then any further information will come to, as it comes to hand, we'll provide that. Now, that's not just something that is specific to this type of product. When you get into sort of a partnership with Dyson, for example, changes to colorways, the Supersonic R will be undergoing a change to colorway. Again, further information will be provided in the coming months as that comes to hand, because there will be a change. So colors will change, and that happens not so often on the professional side, but we're looking at a Corel, I guess the retail SKU we call it, that you'll notice every year there's basically a change to that, or every 18 months. So that information will be communicated out, but just because there's a change to SKU or change to color doesn't mean that the stock's completely gone. So yeah, we'll communicate that because there's a number of moving parts.
So what happens with a salon warranty opposed to retail, which is different?
So with the Corel, that will be covered under the warranty regardless of where it's used, because we've kind of been put into this position. So that will fall outside. But again, because we're working through you guys and selling to professionals only, anytime we basically see like if there's any inquiries or queries come through, they'll come through our professional line or our commercial side, so they'll be covered. So it won't be your salons won't go to our standard customer care team. They'll come through to a special line that they can use.
Right. Okay.
Who understand the intricacies and the you go to customer care. They're not going to know anything about loan units and stuff like that. It's going to be all through our professional point of contact.
Okay, that's good.
And with them coming to you, do you have repairs or do you replace?
Yeah, so depending on the model and depending on what's exactly gone wrong, there will be repairs. So that'll happen in Auckland. And then, yeah, I guess depending on what's actually gone wrong, it'll be a replacement or a repair, depending on, I guess, what the fault actually is. But if the unit's sent in, we just need a heads up so that we can provide a loan unit for the customer to use in the interim.
Okay. Yep, good.
That corral, has that been out for quite a while?
It has been, yeah. So again, we'll see how
it's
the
been out
demand
just
goes.
as long. If I just cut you off there, Matt, I was going to say it's been out just as long as the original Supersonic. So it was actually out 4 years after the first Supersonic. So it was 2020. But one difference is, to not get bogged down by corral, is that the professional and the retail SKU, the body, the part of the machine, the straightener itself is exactly the same heat pouch, the same performance. There is no difference whatsoever except the color, and the cable is a bit longer, right? But being a cord-free machine, it doesn't matter too much about the cable being super long because it's already quite long if it's going to be used plugged in. And look, I'd argue the retail color is a bit nicer anyway for the corral. So, but yeah, there's no difference in that whatsoever. It's the same performance versus the others.
Am I right in saying, I'm only going by memory, it is a fair weight?
Sorry?
It is a fair weight.
Yeah, it's a heavier machine. Yeah, it is a heavier machine because it's got batteries in it. Like it's ergonomically designed, but it's heavier than a normal straightener, right? And that's a trade-off you get with having the battery. So look, some people might find that polarizing, but again, in terms of benefit, like you're getting more control in the plates in terms of the result, but not being tethered by a cord is like, there's something so free about that, but it feels foreign. It's like they're going to go from their heavy hair dryer to a really light hair dryer with Supersonic, and then we're going to take their already straightener that's lighter and we're going to give them a heavier one with Dyson, but there's different benefits and advantages to it, right? So it is a bit heavier, but it's not super heavy. It just feels heavier than something that doesn't have a battery in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Boom. All right. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it on my end of things. I will send through a cheat sheet to Matt that he can pass on to you all. It's just a little PDF 2-pager on Supersonic R, and it'll just be your like little quick cheat sheet reference guide, and Matt can add anything to it if he wants. But that's it for me on my end. Do you have any final questions for me?
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, George. That was very good.
Well, happy, George, and a lot more informative than it was before you started.
Oh, good.
I still think it's a crazy shape that, but you know,
look, questions
I want to see it in real life.
Yeah, please do. And look, if any questions come up, Matt will filter them through, or I'm sure he'll have the answers to it anyway. But I'm happy to support you, and very exciting to have you come on board and sell some Dyson hair care tools, change some styles, change some salons, bring them into the latest tech. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day and your week. Matt, we'll chat and I'll send you through that guide now. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Thank you. I'll keep you guys on the line while George goes off just for a couple of minutes because I know we're running over and probably got a lot to do. So demo units of the Supersonic R, we're arranging those, so we'll get those sent out. I just wanted to kind of make sure they go all to the right places with the multiple branches, so we'll get those out to you. I will a few points of to be confirmed, so I'll confirm those stands because it'll be nice to display them on stands as well. Then we've demo units of obviously Corel as well. I just obviously only got that information yesterday around what we're doing, so we will get those out to you. Also, Supersonic Pro, we don't have any stock, but that will be something that will be coming in August. You may have people who prefer what would be considered the classic Dyson, or they have a Supersonic at home, they want a Supersonic Pro, so that'll be coming in August. You guys will have plenty of notice about that, as well as demo units. And then we aren't actively offering out AirWrap to professional salons, but everybody, I assume you guys know that product in terms of you may have seen it online. So that will be on as required basis. So if you have people asking about it, we can discuss that. Now, the big issue is these sorts of products, if they are in the retail space, you are going to be competing with potentially people are going to come in with the question, how come Harvey Norman are doing it cheaper? How come an Old Leeming are doing it cheaper? Okay. Now, the reality is that these guys buy in the thousands every year. It's huge quantities. So yes, they do get pricing that reflects that. However, if people are looking for this product and we see a market for this product, as well as things like Corel, because there is a retail SKU, I'm going to be looking out for colorways that we have available to us that are not available anywhere else. So people walk through your doors, they will not see something, they might see a Corel, they won't be able to go into Harvey Norman to get it, because we can't control what these guys are doing in terms of price. Sometimes they absolutely drop the bottom out of it, and you look at it and you're like, how are they making money? Well, sometimes they have their strategies and whatnot. So we're not trying to compete with them. We're looking at a pro side. They're going to get professional support, and we will be looking at colorways. So I will look through our Corel stock and see what we've got and what we can supply at the moment. And then that's the same thing with air wrap. So if you have people walking through and saying, hey, I want an air wrap for my salon, that's fine, as long as we know that, and we can then, I can kind of handle those as they come through, because no doubt you will get that sort of request, and we'll go from there. So aiming to have a kickoff date around the 1st of June. So I'll talk to Ray about that, and then I'll be dropping off the Supersonic R's to the Auckland stores. Like, I'll drop them off in person, just avoid couriers. And then by all means, we can ask questions when I'm on site. But Ray has my information, and I've got a list of all the email addresses of the branches. So closer to that 1st of June, which is looming because it'll be here before we know it, you will see communications from me, and then you will see probably a communication out once a month, just in the first initial months. I don't want to bombard you, but I just want there to be an easy enough prompt if you do have comms you want to feed back, and we can go from there.
Okay, fantastic.
Wonderful.
And when will this video be available to circulate around the other branches?
Sorry, 1 second.
Yep.
Thank you for reminding me. I just stopped the recording.